Hello, my name is Philip Russom. I'm the Research Director for Data Management at the Data Warehousing Institute. And I'm here with Claudia Imhoff. She's the President of Intelligent Solutions, the founder of the Boulder BI Brain Trust. She's a well-known faculty member here for TDWI, been teaching courses for us for many years, and a well-known consultant and author as well. Claudia, welcome.
Thank you very much. How nice of it. What a lovely introduction.
It took me a while to remember all of that.
Well, we're getting old.
Yeah, and you've got one big resume, I tell you. So I know you've done some recent work at TDWI for us. In particular, you and Colin White researched and then co-authored a new report on a very important trend around self-service BI. So can you just tell us, what is self-service BI?
Well, you know, it was a lot of fun, first of all, to write the report. We did have to do a lot of research. And what we found is that self-service business intelligence then consists of all the facilities in a BI environment that enable the business intelligence users to become more self-reliant and less dependent on the IT organization. So I think that's the whole key to it, is their self-reliance and the lack of dependence on IT.
Yeah, that's a good definition of it, and that's the real purpose, isn't it? To provide self-service for it. And so the self-service, it's in a lot of ways, it's so the users can get information on their time scale. What does IT think about it? Does it help to relieve their workloads or anything like that?
Well, it certainly does. I mean, it frees them up to do more value-added types of activities.
That's right.
They're not just creating reports. They're now bringing in new data sources. They're improving the quality of the data. They're really adding back to the value of the environment, not just creating reports.
Right.
So, yes, IT has a tremendous benefit.
That's a very good point. So many people tell me they're drowning under the backlog of report requests. So,
and then as soon as they create a report, somebody's going to ask for it to be changed. So why not let them serve themselves? Why not let them create these environments, these reports for themselves, and then be able to change them for themselves?
Great. So are those the major drivers behind self-service?
Well, you know, we did a survey, and you can go to the TDWI.org website and find the entire report. But one of the key survey questions that we asked was exactly what you just did. What are the drivers behind self-service BI? And the number one reason, far and away, over 60% of the respondents said it was the constantly changing business requirements. They couldn't keep up with the business requirements changing as fast as they did. So why not let the business users self-serve? They can change whatever they need to. They can tweak whatever they want to. They can deal with these constantly changing things. Another one that was almost 60%, 57%, was the inability of IT to meet the business user demand. They can't keep up with the demand. You were talking about the backlog.
Yes.
The need to be a more analytically driven organization was number 3, which I thought was a tremendous change from what we've seen in the past.
Sure.
Companies are recognizing that they have to rely on analytics, not their gut, not their intuition. So analytics driving the need for self-service. Slow or untimely access to information was the 4th one, and again, it was 47%, almost 50% of the respondents saying that the untimely access to data was just killing them. And then there were others that were less. Dissatisfaction with the IT capabilities. The existing environment was too complex to use. They wanted something simpler. So there were a number of these drivers, but I think those are the main ones.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, I'd have guessed that it had been mostly about reporting. I'm happy to hear it. Self-service is also about analytics.
All about analytics.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen your report. Very good. You and Colin did a great job. And I seem to recall there were 4 objectives that you described. Is that right? Yeah,
there are. Most people, like you said, most people think that it's just simpler reporting or easier to use BI tools. That if I just get an easier to use BI tool, then that's all I really need to make a self-service environment. And in fact, that's a piece of it, but it's not the only piece. So we broke it up into 4 different objectives. The first one was actually to make the BI results, the results of the analyses, easier to consume and easier to enhance. So it's the visualization of the results. It's the ability to understand what the data is actually saying to these business users. Make that less complex, make it easier to consume, easier to enhance. The second one, yes, of course, is making the BI tools easier to use so that we can easily create new analytics, create new reports, and so forth and so on. You can't get away from that. Of course, that's part of it. The third one, though, though, was to make the data warehouse solutions faster to deploy and easier to manage. So if you can't manage or deploy this environment, then you've got some problems.
Yep.
And the fourth one was actually an interesting one. It's make it easier to access the source data. A lot of the vendors that were sponsors of this report said that that was almost the most critical one. If I can't access the source data, all the rest of it's moot, right? Who cares if the tool is easy to use if I don't have any data to use against it? So those are the four: making the results easier to consume and enhance, making the tools easier to use, making the data warehouse easier to deploy and manage, and giving them easy access to the source data.
Great, great. Those are great objectives. So for what kind of user? I think you talked about information workers or something like that. What kind of users do you find turning to self-service BI?
Well, we struggled with this a little bit. We talked about information workers and who are these information workers? Do they fall into different categories? And they actually do seem to fall into 4 different categories that are fairly clearly differentiated. The first information worker is what we call the information producer. We see these people all over the place. These are the power users. There aren't very many of them in the organization, but they're the ones that really are, they create the analytics, they create the algorithms, they create the reports and so forth. They really explore, analyze, and produce these actionable BI objects, if you will.
Yes.
Then the second group were just the opposite of the producers. We call them information consumers. They have little or no desire to create the analytics, but they do use the results. They want to consume those analytics. So they're the consume and enhance side of the organization. These are the general public. They could be customers, they could be employees, suppliers, people like that. But they're very task-oriented. They need to consume the analytic rapidly and make a decision based off of the analytic result. So not going to be creating the algorithm, but certainly going to be looking at the results. Then the third one is kind of a new creature, a new information worker. We call them the information collaborators.
Okay.
These are people that want to improve the information. They want to add their expertise, their experience, their opinions even, to improve the business content and context of the BI results so that they can again, add their comments to why this trend is happening or why this result is the way it is. They add a lot of unstructured or multi-structured information. They add links. They may rate a report, thumbs up or thumbs down, is it useful or not. And then the last one, I'm not sure they fit into the information worker or where they fit in, but we call them the BI or data warehouse builder. And they are traditionally the people that have been responsible for building business intelligence environments, all the way from source to target on down to the actual BI results. Central or business IT people typically fall into that. Information producers may now become BI or data warehouse builders. But because of budget, resource, or priority issues, they are often seen as the bottleneck in a business intelligence environment, which is where the self-service comes in. So those are the 4 types of workers as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, that was a wonderful rundown of self-service BI. Can you remember, I'm going to send people to our website to get at the report. Do you remember, what's the exact title?
Oh, the exact title. Wow. I know it's self-service business intelligence.
Well, that's enough, isn't it?
I don't remember the rest of it. It's a long title.
Yeah, so folks, please go to tdwi.org. And if you look under Best Practices Reports, you'll see the latest Best Practices Report on Self-Service BI by Colin White and Claudia Imhoff, who's with me here today. Again, I'm Philip Russom, Research Director for Data Management at TDWI. Thank you.